welcome to this edition of You and the Law. On You and the Law, I discuss the issues of law in the breaking news generally, but I also create time to discuss other issues affecting everyday living. This is one of such instances that I'm discussing issues away from the breaking news. I'm discussing fundamental rights. This is continuation of the discussion on fundamental rights as contained in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Remember, at the commencement of You and the Law in 2022, the first edition, I did say that I'm going to discuss the fundamental rights as provided in the Constitution. So every episode carries a fundamental rights discussion. In this very episode, I am discussing the rights to private family life. And this is contained in Section 37 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. My name is Ekeminidim. I'm a legal practitioner, and I'm always glad to know that you are there, keeping me company on this channel. There are 12 fundamental rights in the Constitution. Fundamental right to private family life is one of the very significant fundamental rights provided in the Constitution. It is a fundamental right also provided in the African Charter, and it's also provided in the Universal Declaration on Human Rights. And so the right to privacy of family and family life is not taken for granted. For too long, we've seen policemen break into people's houses anyhow without order of court, break into people's privacy and so on without any authorization by a court of law of competent jurisdiction. Maybe you did not know that there is a fundamental right against that. Fundamental right protecting my private family life and also protecting yours. It's a very brief provision in the Constitution of Nigeria. And for purpose of clarity, I have chosen to display it on the screen so that we can read it together, after which I continue with this conversation. As you can see displayed on the screen, Section 37 of the Constitution says, and I read, "The privacy of citizens, their homes, correspondence, telephone conversations, and telegraphic communications is hereby guaranteed and protected." Now, as seen from that provision that I just read, the Constitution is clear that the privacy of citizens to their homes is guaranteed. The privacy of citizens to their telephones is also guaranteed. The privacy of citizens to their communications generally is also guaranteed. And so, any interference with the private family life of any person in the country is something that is contrary to the provisions of the law. And therefore, what we see sometimes, we see policemen stop Nigerian citizens on the road and ask them to bring out their phones, and then open their phones for the policemen to invade and go into whatever is in the phone. That is contrary to the provision that I just read, which you saw on the screen, displayed exactly as provided by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So that conduct, whereby policemen subject citizens to compulsorily open their phones for them at checkpoints and so on, without any court order, is something done in clear violation of the provisions of the Constitution on fundamental rights. And therefore, telegraphic communication, emails, mails, the surface mail, and every kind of private communication is respected by the Constitution. It is guaranteed by the Constitution that no one should just breach into those private zones without infringing upon the rights of the person. Now, generally, the security agents in the course of doing their work would be expected to search all corners to see if a wrong has been committed against the state. And what is expected to be done in that case is to get a court order. You get a court order. If you are to invade the private family home of someone, you get a court order for that. You don't do that without a court order, because if you do that, that will be an infringement of the fundamental right to private family life, fundamental right to privacy of communication, telephone communication, telegraphic communication, and all other forms of communications that have been privileged, by the law. And I do hope that Nigerian citizens have now understood their rights clearly provided in the Constitution. Don't sleep over your rights anymore. Take steps to protect your rights at every given instance. I do also hope that policemen, the soldiers, civil defense, DSS, they've seen the clear provisions of the Constitution. It's not said by me. It's only explained by me. It is said clearly by the Constitution, and everyone should abide by the provisions of the Constitution so as not to go against what the law says. It's seen clearly that we don't have the liberty to bump into people's houses like that, bump into people's privacy like that, bump into people's phones like that. If you do that, you are doing that against the provisions of the Constitution, and there are damages that can follow if the court finds clearly that what you did is contrary to the provisions of the Constitution. I do hope that you continue to watch this channel so that you can learn about other fundamental rights. The next fundamental right I'm going to discuss about is going to be the right to freedom of worship, freedom of religion, freedom of expression of your conscience about the religion you want to worship Him. That is the liberty is already given by the Constitution, and no one shall be subjected to a particular religion, and no one shall be discriminated upon because of being a member of a particular religion. So I'm going to take that on in the next video. Thank you so much for watching this very episode of Beyond the Law. I do hope you have learned one or two things about your rights. I do also hope you've learned one or two things about what the law says about this very fundamental right. Subscribe to this channel if you have not already done so. It pays to subscribe because when you subscribe, notifications will be sent to you from time to time. Every new video will be sent to your phone so that you can watch and learn as much as you can from every video loaded to the channel. You can also share videos with your friends on social media handles so that your friends can also take the benefit of joining this community where we learn law in the most informal ways. Thank you. I remain your host and your brother. I remain your lawyer. I remain your host, Ekeminudim, and I'm always glad to know that you are there with me. Thank you and remain blessed.